Have you ever looked down at your hands and wondered if they were hiding some kind of secret? I was once like you until the day I experienced the feeling of being close to death and met Jesus Christ. In that moment, he revealed a shocking truth about the mysterious M mark on the hand. Look at your hand right now. Do you see the letter M? If you do, you need to understand its true meaning. If not, don't go away, because God has shown me 4 reasons why some people do not bear this mark. And the final reason may change the way you see yourself. Listen carefully, for this truth is more important than you think. Let me introduce myself. My name is Samuel Laurent, and I am 75 years old. I don't know if my life was particularly special, but I spent most of it searching for answers. My entire life, I have been a man passionate about reading, always trying to understand the meaning of existence. But even at this age, I still had not found a satisfactory answer. I was born in Belgium, but I spent most of my life in Asheville, North Carolina. It wasn't because I loved America more, but in my youth, I pursued the dream of a better, greater life. When I was a child, my grandmother would often tell me about the mark of God. She said that in this world, there are those who are chosen, bearing a sacred mark that only those who know how to see can perceive. At that time, I paid little attention. Children rarely care about abstract things. To me, God was a distant concept, appearing only in church paintings or in the stories my grandmother told before bed. As I grew older, those memories faded. I had a daughter, and though she visited me occasionally, bringing food or books she thought I would enjoy, she had her own life and family. I never blamed her. How could I? Life moves fast, and I didn't want to slow her down just because I was old. So, day by day, I continued my routine, living in quiet solitude. In recent years, my health had deteriorated. I had heart disease, an illness I had grown accustomed to over time. The chest pains came and went, like waves crashing and then retreating. I never told anyone about them, not even my daughter. To me, they were just fleeting pains that vanished as quickly as they arrived. Perhaps I told myself that I had lived long enough and there was nothing to fear. Then, one autumn evening, when the air grew chilly and leaves covered the yard, I found myself sitting down to read the Bible, a small habit I had maintained every evening. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through my chest, cutting through me like a knife. I gasped, clutching my chest, trying to breathe, but my lungs refused to cooperate. Panic surged through me, but I tried to suppress it, not wanting my daughter to worry. The room blurred, and then everything went black. I don't remember exactly when I fell, only that I was suddenly surrounded by an endless darkness. There was no sound, no light, just absolute silence. Memories, images, all faded away. It was a strange sensation, both terrifying and oddly peaceful. I felt as if I were leaving behind everything I had ever known. Then, something changed. I no longer felt fear, only a profound sense of letting go. I can't say exactly when my soul left my body, but I do remember one moment with absolute clarity, the sensation of weightlessness. It was as if I no longer belonged to my body. I looked down and saw myself lying motionless on the floor, my eyes closed, my limbs stiff. It was an eerie sight, not of death, but of absence. Something had left, and I was merely a shadow of myself. Suddenly, the darkness around me was replaced by a light, not the kind of light we see from lamps or the sun, but something else entirely. It was warm, soft, and full of love. I felt an invisible force pulling me, not with strength, but with a gentle, comforting touch, as if unseen hands were supporting me. I drifted forward, unable to resist, moving through a hazy, ethereal space. The walls, the objects, the world I had known faded away. Then, I saw it, a massive, golden door standing before me, radiant and sturdy. Yet, instead of fear, I felt only peace, as if I had found what I had been searching for my entire life. The door opened, and I stepped through. Immediately, I was in another realm, a vast, endless field under a clear sky, bathed in an indescribable light. The air carried no urgency, no worries, no chaos, only peace. Time itself seemed to stand still. It was as if I had entered a world where love and tranquility reigned supreme. I don't know how long I stood there, but as I marveled at this new existence, another presence emerged before me. He was tall, with eyes that shone like stars. His gaze held a strength unlike anything I had ever encountered, gentle yet powerful. as if he was connected to the very fabric of the universe. When he spoke, his voice was warm yet filled with authority. "Samuel, you have spent your whole life searching for the truth, but you have been looking in the wrong place. Today, you will see what your heart has always longed for." I stood there, unable to respond, as a profound peace washed over me. All my doubts, all my fears, all my unanswered questions vanished. In their place was only the deep curiosity of what was to come. This was no ordinary man standing before me. This was an angel, a messenger from God. He introduced himself as Raphael, and he was here to lead me on a journey I never expected, a journey that would reveal the meaning of my life and the truth about the mysterious mark one never knew I carried. Raphael led me down a long, radiant corridor, unlike anything I had ever seen. The walls were not solid but shimmered like waves of golden light. I felt no weight in my body, no pain, only a deep sense of peace. Each step I took felt effortless, as if I were gliding rather than walking. As we moved forward, the corridor transformed, revealing scenes from my past, clearer than any memory I had ever recalled. I saw myself as a child, sitting at my grandmother's feet, listening to her stories about the mysterious mark of God. She had once traced the lines on my palm, whispering that some people bore a divine sign. I had thought little of it then, dismissing it as another tale meant to comfort a restless boy. But now, standing in this heavenly corridor, I felt a stirring inside me. Was it true all along? Raphael stopped and turned toward me, his eyes deep and knowing. "Samuel, you have been searching your entire life for meaning, for a reason behind your existence," he said, his voice gentle yet powerful. "But you have overlooked what was given to you from the beginning." I followed his gaze downward. My hands were glowing, the faint outline of a letter forming in the light. As I looked closer, I saw it clearly, an M etched onto my palm. Not carved or drawn but radiating from within. My breath caught. "This mark," Raphael continued, "has been with you since birth. It is not random, it is a calling." I swallowed hard, my mind racing. "What does it mean?" I asked, my voice barely more than a whisper. Raphael's expression remained calm. "The M stands for 3 sacred truths. First, it represents mercy, the compassion and love you are meant to share with the world. Those who bear this mark are called to lift others, to bring hope where there is despair. You have been given a gift, Samuel, not for yourself alone, but for those who need kindness and guidance." A flood of memories surged through me, moments when I had the chance to help others but let fear hold me back. The homeless man I walked past on cold nights, the friend I could have comforted but chose silence instead. Regret settled heavily in my chest. Had I ignored my purpose all these years? Raphael continued. "Second, it stands for mission. This is not just a mark of identity, it is a sign of responsibility. Those who bear it are chosen to fulfill a divine task, to carry out work that will bring light into the darkness. Some recognize it early, embracing their role. Others, like you, must go through trials before they see the truth." Tears burned in my eyes. I wasted so much time. I admitted, I ignored the signs. Raphael's hand rested on my shoulder, his touch warm and reassuring. "It is never too late. Samuel, the final meaning of this mark is Messiah. It serves as a reminder that all you do must lead back to Him, the source of all truth. All life, your actions, your kindness, your journey, they are meant to bring others closer to God." I looked at my hand again, my vision blurred by tears. This mark was not a coincidence. It was not a mere arrangement of lines on my palm. It was a symbol, a calling I had overlooked for decades. My heart ached with the weight of this realization. "But why did I not see it before?" I asked, my voice trembling. Raphael's gaze held mine. "Because you were not ready. Many are blind to their purpose until the time appointed by God. Now, you are ready." A deep silence stretched between us. But it was not empty. It was filled with understanding, with unspoken truths that settled in my soul. I felt lighter, as if a burden had been lifted from my shoulders. Just as I was about to speak, a brilliant light filled the corridor, so powerful that I instinctively shielded my eyes. A voice, rich and full of love, resonated through the space. It was unlike any voice I had ever heard, yet it felt familiar, as if I had always known it. "Samuel." I turned toward the source, my heart pounding, and there, standing in the radiant glow, was Jesus. His presence was overwhelming yet comforting. His eyes, brighter than the stars, met mine, and in that instant, every doubt, every fear melted away. He stepped forward, raising his hand. I saw the same mark, the letter M, shining on his palm. My breath caught. He had it too. This mark is not just yours, Jesus said, his voice soothing every wound I had ever carried. It is mine as well. I fell to my knees, overwhelmed by the truth. The mark on my hand was a reflection of him, a sign that I had been called to follow in his footsteps, to live with mercy, to embrace my mission, to lead others toward the Messiah. Tears streamed down my face as Jesus placed his hand on my forehead. A warmth, unlike anything I had ever known, filled me. It was love, pure and infinite. It is not too late. He whispered, "Go, and fulfill your purpose." As the light intensified around me, I felt myself being pulled back to the world I had left behind. The last thing I saw was his eyes, full of love and promise. Then, everything faded. When I awoke, I was back in my home, lying on the floor, my breath shallow but steady. My body was weak, but my heart, my soul, was stronger than ever before. I raised my hand, staring at my palm. The M was still there, as real as ever. But now, I understood its meaning, and I knew, with every fiber of my being, that my life would never be the same again. I lay on the floor, my breath steadying, my mind racing with the revelation I had just experienced. The warmth of Jesus' touch still lingered on my forehead, and the image of his glowing M mark on his palm remained etched in my heart. I had been searching for purpose my entire life, and now, I finally understood, but a question still burned within me. What about those who did not bear this mark? Were they left without a mission? Were they forgotten by God? As soon as these thoughts formed, a familiar presence filled the room. The golden light returned, and in its midst stood Raphael, his expression patient and knowing. "You still have questions," he said gently. I sat up slowly, my body weak but my spirit stronger than ever. "Yes," I admitted, "I understand the meaning of the M mark. But what about those who do not have it? Are they without purpose?" Raphael smiled, stepping closer. "No, Samuel, every soul has a purpose. The mark is a sign of a specific calling, but it does not mean that those without it are without significance. Let me show you." With a wave of his hand, the air shimmered, and a vision unfolded before me. I saw people from all walks of life, young, old, rich, poor, men, women. Some bore the M mark like I did, but many did not. Yet, they were not wandering aimlessly. They were living with purpose, fulfilling roles that were just as vital in God's plan. Jesus' voice resonated around me, filling my soul with understanding. There are 4 kinds of people who do not bear the mark. He said, the hidden missionaries. The first vision showed a woman tending to the sick, her hands soothing a crying child. Though she did not have the mark, there was kindness in her touch, a light in her eyes that brought comfort to those around her. Some souls, Jesus explained, do not bear an outward sign, but their mission is just as sacred. They work in quiet humility, bringing love and healing to the world. Their deeds are unseen by most, but never by me. Tears welled in my eyes as I watched the woman embrace a frail old man, her heart radiating warmth. She had no mark, yet she carried God's love just the same. The seekers. The vision shifted, and I saw a young man sitting in a dimly lit room, a Bible in his hands, his brow furrowed as he read, searching for meaning. These are the seekers, Jesus said. They have yet to recognize my calling in their lives. Some will find their purpose through trials and hardship. Others will be guided by those who already walk in my light. But they, too, are part of my plan. I watched as the young man's face softened with realization, as if a divine whisper had touched his heart. He closed his eyes and prayed, beginning a journey he did not yet fully